Good morning, students. Today we are going to start a new topic, that is statistics. As you have already done in class 9, the graphical representation of statistical data. So basically, what is graphical representation of data? The tabular representation of data in a proper way of representing them in a systematic manner. When these numerical figures are represented graphically, they become more easy to understand. So with the help of these pictures or graph or data can be compared easily. So in this topic, we will do three types of graph. As you have already done the histogram and frequency polygon last year. This year we will do a new type of curve, that is a cumulative curve, or you can say the another name is ogive. So children, we will understand the concept of histogram and frequency polygon with the help of this question. So question is, draw a histogram and frequency polygon to represent the following data. Now you can see that in this question they have given the class mark and frequency. So first what we have to do, we need to convert the class mark into class interval. Then with the help of class intervals, we will draw a histogram and frequency polygon together. So first, we will convert these class mark into class intervals. So we can see the gap between all the class marks is 10, like 160 minus 150 is 10. Similarly, 170 minus 160 is also 10. So whatever is the gap between the classes, we will take the half of that. Okay, so the gap between the classes is 10. So what is a half of 10? That is 5. So what we will do, we will add 5 for getting the upper limits and we will subtract 5 to get the lower limit. So first class mark is 150. If we will subtract 5 in the 150, we will get the lower limit. So our first lower limit is 150 minus 5, that is 145. And for the first class mark, the upper limit is 150 plus 5, that is 155. So our first class interval is 145 to 155. Similarly, for the second class interval also, we will add 5 in the 160 and we will subtract 5 in 160. So it becomes 155 to 165. Similarly, we will do for all the class marks and we will get the class intervals. So our third class interval is 165 to 175. Fourth is 175 to 185 and up to so on. The last class interval is 195 to 205. So these are the class intervals. We will draw the frequency polygon. So now we'll come to the graph. So here first we will draw the x-axis, y-axis. X-axis represent our class intervals and y-axis represent our frequency polygon. So our first class interval was 145. Second is 155. We'll mention all the class intervals here till 205. X-axis represent the class interval and y-axis represent our frequency. So we can see the first frequency is 15. Next is 28, then 12, 36, 8 and 18. So we will take a gap of our choice. Now either we can take a gap of 10, 10 or you can take a gap of 5, 5. Both the ways are correct, whatever suits you. We will take the first block as 10, second is 20, 30, 40. So our maximum frequency is 36, so I'll take up to 40. So the first frequency is 15, that is lie between 10 to 20. So the first bar is of 15. Similarly, the second frequency is 28. 28 will lie somewhere here. So this is our second bar. Third is 12. Next is 36. Next is 8. So remember children, the histogram bars are attached to each other. And the last is 18. This is a histogram of our given data. Now, with the help of histogram only, we will draw the frequency polygon on the same graph paper. So what we'll do for the frequency polygon, we need to take the mid values. So we will take the middle point of all these bars. And one more important thing, children, we can see here our class interval starts from 145. So from origin to 145, there is a gap of 145, and rest all the bars, there is a gap of 10. So what we will do, we will put here kink. Okay. Now for the frequency polygon, remember, it start from the base and end also on the base. It start from the x-axis and also on the x-axis. So we'll take the middle value of the block. Now we will join all these points with the help of scale. You need to use scale to join all these points, and it ends also on the x-axis. So this is our required histogram as well as frequency polygon. Yes, now we will take the next type of graph, that is ogive. The another name of this graph is cumulative frequency curve. So for drawing the ogive or a cumulative frequency curve, we need to draw a cumulative frequency table. So first we can see here the class intervals are given in the form of discontinuous series. As we have already studied in class 9, whenever the discontinuous series is given, first we need to convert it into the continuous series by adding 0.5 in the upper limits and subtracting 0.5 in the lower limits. So when we'll subtract 0.5 in 1, it becomes 0.5, 2, and add 0.5 in the upper limit. So when we'll add 0.5 in 10, it becomes 10.5. So this is our first class interval, 0.5 to 10.5. Then 11 to 20. So 11 minus 11 is a lower limit. So we will subtract 0.5 in this. So it becomes 10.5 to 20.5. 20 was the upper limit. So we add 0.5 in the upper limit. Similarly, we will do for rest of the class intervals, and we will get our required continuous series. So the last class interval is 50.5 to 60.5. So we can see that in all the class intervals, there is a equal class length of 10. Now, next column is the cumulative frequency. So we need to draw a cumulative frequency, as this also we have studied in class 9, how to get the cumulative frequency. So the first frequency will remain same. First frequency was 4, so cumulative frequency will also remain 4. Next cumulative frequency we will get by adding the previous frequency. So the next frequency is 6, so we will get the next cumulative frequency by adding all the previous frequencies. So 6 plus 4 is 10. Similarly, the next cumulative frequency is 6 plus 8 plus 4. So that is 18. Then similarly, 11 was the next frequency. So next cumulative frequency will be by adding all the previous frequencies. So 11 plus 8 plus 6 plus 4. So that is 29. Similarly, in other words, you can say the next cumulative frequency, we will get it by adding the next frequency in your previous cumulative frequencies. So 29 plus 7 is 36. Similarly, 36 plus 5 is 41. And remember, the sum of all the frequencies, that is, if you'll see, if we'll add all the frequencies, it is 41. So sum of all the frequencies should be equal to our last cumulative frequency. If it is not same, that means we have done something wrong. Now we will plot the cumulative frequencies on the graph paper, not the frequency, because it's a cumulative frequency curve or ogive. And remember, all the cumulative frequencies you have to plot against the upper limits. So 4 will be plotted against 10.5, 10 will be plotted against 20.5, similarly 18 will plot against 30.5 and up to so on. So we will move to the graph now. So it is first class interval was 0.5, then 10.5, 20.5, 30.5, 40.5, 50.5, and the last was 60.5. And our highest cumulative frequency is 41. So either we can take a gap of 10, 10 or 5, 5. So again, the choice is yours. So I'm taking a gap of 10, 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, and this is 50. So our first class interval, as we can see that our first class interval was 0.5 to 10.5. Again, here first we have to plot a kink because the gap is not as same as rest of the class intervals. So now we will plot first cumulative frequency 4 against 10.5, not against 0.5. Please remember, children, all the upper limits we will use to plot the points. So first was 4. So this is 10.5. So this is our first point, first frequency 4. Next is 10. 10 will be plot against 20.5. The next cumulative frequency was 18. This is 18. And always remember, cumulative frequencies are all either in increasing order or decreasing. So curve will be in the direction of increasing order. Next is 40.5. So it is 29. Next is 29. 29 is here. And then next is 36. And the last is 41. So now we have to join all the points with the free hand. You are not going to use any scale to join these points. Otherwise, in the board, your question will be marked as wrong. So we will now, from where we have to start? We have to start from our first lower limit. Our first lower limit was 0.5. So we'll start from 0.5 and join all these points with the free hand. We will not use any scale to join our points. So this is our cumulative frequency curve, which is in an increasing order, or you can say it is an ogive. Now we'll start with the question of histogram and frequency polygon. So they have given the data in which the marks and the number of students are given, and we have to draw a histogram and frequency polygon of the given data. So first what we'll do, we will draw the marks on the x-axis and the number of students, that is the frequency, on y-axis. So first frequency is 4. So it's starting from 0 to 10. So our first bar will be attached with y-axis. So our first frequency is 4. So it is the first bar. Next is 7. So we will use our scale and pencil to join the bars. Next frequency is 12. It should be neat and clean, children. Next frequency is 20. Then next is 9. Then the last is 2. Now, this is our required histogram. Now, with the help of histogram only, we have to draw the frequency polygon. As so, to draw the frequency polygon, we will take the middle value of all these bars. We'll take the midpoint of all these bars. And always remember, the frequencies polygon starts from x-axis and also on the x-axis. So our starting point will be on the x-axis. Now we can see that our first bar is attached to y-axis. So from where we have to start, we will move to a negative side, this side, left side, and the next, this block, we will take the midpoint of this block and ending here at 60. So next block midpoint we will take. Now we will join all these points with the help of scale. Remember, it should be neat and clean. And you have to use scale, and it ends also on x-axis. So this is our required frequency polygon. So based on today's concept of histogram, frequency polygon and ogive, children, you are going to practice the rest of the question of exercise 24. Thank you.